the other problem with both Mac and Linux are. If you're not a young punk like us, you don't play video games. Guess what? Most video games do not work very well on Mac or Linux.
That's true.
I got a PS4. What do I need video games for? Play it on the PS4.
PC Master Race, boys.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
my name is Dylan Schultz, and I'm currently at Garmin. This is my second internship through MECOP. So Garmin was founded in 1989 through Gary Burrell and Ming Kao. This is where you get Garmin from. Headquarters in Olathe, Kansas, and where I'm at is in Salem. It's actually Garmin AT. So Garmin AT has around 600 employees, half of which are call service members, and we focus on aviation technologies. That's where we get AT from. Most of us are software. There are like 3 HR people and probably 12 managers, and everyone else is engineers. So the different industries that Garmin's in is general avionics, automotive, marine, outdoor, and fitness. I am working on avionics hardware. So they pay competitively. They pay above minimum for MECOP. You get 40 hours per week. I haven't taken the overtime, but as far as I'm aware, they're okay with it. So I say 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but I actually come in around 6:30 and leave at 3:30 in order to beat traffic because I live up in Beaverton. So hours are super flexible. When I first went there, they have you like clock in and out using some software, and it like blinked red and freaked out whenever I logged in at like 7 in the morning. Which my manager, he just laughed. He's like, "Yeah, that's not a big deal. Ignore it. I'm gonna ignore it. Don't worry about it." So you get paid holidays and PTO. Columbus Day isn't considered a holiday. I guess that's unfortunate, but I don't know who really does celebrate Columbus Day for PTO. And you get health insurance, but that's you have to pay for it yourself. So through our projects, everything was under the GDL 88, which in layman's, very criminally basic way, it's plain radar. So one of the things I did is I had to detect how robust it was, how many targets it could see at one time and handle it. And then basically what I did was, aside from that, was I took software that was currently built into the ADA and I ported it into a common library for Garmin to use, so it can be used in other projects and different hardware. And then after that, I basically have been doing performance enhancements on that library that I transferred over. So with my initial project, the purpose of it was I want to check processing speed, how well it performed whenever I had different targets, say 10 planes were around you versus 1,000. And from what I found out, my team ended up getting a ton of bragging rights. So this is basically what it entailed in order to do that project. So the big machine there is a TTG 5000. And what it does is it creates false targets for the GDL 88 to see, for lack of a better term. So the first thing I do is I had to learn the machine code for how to do that. And I need to create a Python library in order to be able to automate the machine code learning. And then I needed to attach it to the GDL 88, which wasn't designed to be attached to it, and find some way to track when one packet came out and when all the processing was done and when it was input, whatever was processed and when it came out. So what their claim was they could process 15 planes being within its radar system per second. So every second it would detect 15 planes and it would be able to do continuous processing, no slowdown or anything. Once it did that, once I got all that data, it was all up to an Excel sheet, and then I had to do the math basically to see what times it would take. So what I'm doing is I programmed that in order to be able to put 3 different types of targets. There were large targets like Boeing 747 or whatever, smaller targets like private jets and personal planes. And ended up actually being able to do 1,500 planes without slowing down in less than a second. So it was much greater than their initial estimate. And that was a really fun project. It took me about 2 months to do because all the different languages I had to learn how to process them. And then I integrated that test into the common library as well. So, as I said, I took some software and I ported it over, which was done in C. A big part of it was Garmin, due to them being aviation, they have a lot of requirements built into it, and it's very highly regulated. So for every function, you have to have a requirement saying you need that function. For every unit test, you have to have a requirement saying you need that unit test, and this is exactly what it's going to do. It was mapped in a requirements document. So I had to go through and update all those requirements from one library to another, as well as porting over its functionality. That took me about a month. I poured over around 100,000 lines of code, give or take. And then once I did that, originally what happened was each government product is basically a subset of 3 or 4 different products put together. And so data would come into one, and they would be built into like a processing train. And so each one would have different ways of handling endianness. Are you guys software, or is it a mix? Or okay. So you know endianness, but you guys may not. So basically, in endianness, it originally came from what's the book called? I can't remember. Gulliver's Travels, where whether you ate the egg from the top or from the bottom. So some hardware, computer hardware, would read bits in from like placement 0 and read in through there, and some would read it backwards.
So like it's the big chief, little chief.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is.
You know, like Intel is, you know.
Yeah, so Intel versus Motorola, one did big endian, one did little endian. And so the engineers that came into Garmin had the preference for what they did. So some engineers programmed their projects in little endian, some in big endian. So basically you'd be switching between endianness between each project that you went through. And my team was like, I've had enough of it. And so I've gone through and I've just made everything stream agnostic. It just goes through, which is, it's hard to express how difficult it's been. But it's been difficult and it's been fun. So the return on investment for this is high because a lot of people are going to be using this, and it reduces computing time significantly. So some things I've learned is cross-language programming. Like I said, I had to use Python in order to translate it directly into machine code for a specific piece of hardware. My time management has to be pretty good because Garmin has their deadlines for get it regulated. The requirements to code, there is experience with that through junior project, senior project, but whenever it's being commercial and being regulated by the FAA, it's much more strenuous. And I learned, of course, the importance of good communication because I'm interacting on a daily basis with probably 10 other engineers on their projects and things like that. And of course, more things that I can name. So some helpful courses is 162 Digital Logic. That basically taught me how I could track the in and out of packets, which is basically I just tracked through an LED. I attached a piece of hardware to it and said, all right, LED flips on, mark it, and whenever it flips off, mark it again. Anthropology 452 Globalization, just because it's an amazing class and it'll help you everywhere. Speech 321 because I'm constantly interacting with different small groups, and writing 350 because of all the requirements documents that I've agreed, which is documentation and development, I believe. So positives, so this has been a great learning experience, learning how to, before this I'd never messed with such a low level language. I messed with assembly, but what I was messing with is even lower level in assembly. I met some really cool people. The thing about Garmin is it's kind of a, I don't want to say it's a horizontal management structure, but it's as close as it can come for a company this size. The way it's like to be described is it's a small company feel at a big company. Which is true. Like I go out and play volleyball with my team members every day, paid half an hour a day playing volleyball. So the negatives that I have for it is location. Because of living in Beaverton, it's about an hour commute down and an hour to an hour and a half back due to 217's traffic. But aside from that, I would recommend anybody to go to Garmin. It's fantastic. Great company, great learning experience from the employees. Yeah, excited to cover that. Oh, I was treated as an engineer. So Intel was also treated as an engineer. But at Garmin, it was week 1, and I was there like, all right, we don't know how to do this, so go figure it out. And that's what the testing was. They just had an idea for what they wanted to show, and they didn't know how to go about it. So they just were like, all right, you're here for a reason. Prove it. So at Intel, the difference between Intel and Garmin, Intel was definitely bigger. I got to know my team, and that was basically it. I was a software engineer there. But really, because I only learned my team's names, basically, I felt like just another engineer among the masses. Garmin is this, it feels like a community. Like the IT people, they are very well integrated with engineers. You can message IT directly. So one time, one of the interns left, and they moved their keyboard keys to say "you mad bro" at the very top. And I came into work one day, and the person I talked to came in and switched my keyboard out for that one. So I came in and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm mad bro." Instead of QWERTY keyboards, the old school "you mad bro" keyboard style. And like yesterday, she came and brought in pumpkin bread for my team. So everybody's really well integrated. HR comes by and says hello. It's really great. And my projects are actually being used right now, including one of the projects that's about to come out, I think, in months. Anybody, any questions?
Are you gonna stay working there? If
So
so, are you moving to Salem?
So I would live there, or I would work there if I could live closer, but my wife basically works at Intel. So the division between there would just be really bad. So I'm actually trying to find a place in downtown Portland.
Move to like McMinnville and just split it.
But then it's still like 30, 45 minutes each way. So it's
Yeah, but then she has to go 30 to 45 minutes too.
yeah, that's such a huge time sink.
Yeah, and then if you gotta make your wife drive, you're gonna pay for that later.
Exactly, yeah.
So usually they offer you a job, like if you do a good job after the internship, or?
Oh yeah, first month I was offered a job. They were like, I expressed interest to my MECOP rep, and I was like, hey, you know, if I wanted the job, what would I do? And then like an hour later, I was mentioned by HR, like, all right, you want a job, let's do this. We'll turn you over right now. And I was like,
So even though you don't have
Are you allowed to take the jobs at MECOP?
Yeah, you just drop out of the program.
yeah.
Finish the internship and then you drop out of the program. That's all.
Or you don't finish the internship. I could have just rolled right over.
Yeah.
I'm actually graduated already. I chose to stay because I knew that I'd end up at Garmin. Garmin's where I wanted to try, so I figured a 6 months trial period would be better than just committing to
A job?
company.
Yeah. Then you don't have the turnover on your resume.
Exactly. I can just say internship ended.
How do you spell your last name?
SCHULTZ. Anybody else? All right.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.